With the release of CJX, the midair corner boost, the parkour community's most powerful, iconic, and influential tech will be gone. It took us nearly a year to solve the MACB fully, just for Ubi to accidentally patch it, covered up by their new movement mechanics. I am making this video to remember what midairs have given us, and to remember that a year and a half ago, we thought there was little to no new tech to be found, yet the MACB had been in the game the entire time. The story of the MACB starts all the way back when I was getting into parkour. I've been doing a zombie parkour on and off for a few months of 2023, but finally in November of that year, I decided to start looking for more useful spots inside and put my skills to the test. I began posting my findings in Coconut's Discord server in the Tips and Tricks channel, but things started to get crazy when I pulled off my best solve by that point, out of bounds on tower, which I could probably make a different video about because of how ridiculous of a solve it was. This was around the start of 2024, and that spot caught the attention of Gustus, someone who had been in the parkour community for a long time by that point. After showing him another spot I found on Skyscraper, I began talking with a gaming gamer. While talking, he brought up corner boost, which I had also found separately, but at the time we didn't know about speed caps, so corner boosting was only possible in local matches, otherwise it would rubber band you. However, on the 6th of February that year, I accidentally hit Flytech for the first time, and later that day, I recorded the first ever midair corner boost, and I spent hours trying to recreate it, running off that railing garage, but I just couldn't figure out what was causing it. But I saw the insane potential of that tech. I didn't know what it was at the time, because it happened probably once every 30 minutes, but I knew it would be insane if we could figure out what was causing it. But I eventually gave up on it and moved on to other things. But only 6 days later, I figured out how to do a corner boost online. By imperning midair, you will no longer get rubber banded because you're no longer affected by the speed cap. And over the next 4 months, me and Gamer started cooking up some other crazy stuff. And in April of that year, the SpotBusters were formed. Now skipping ahead to July of 2024, Gustus started the SpotBuster League. And the first challenge in this league was to half drop 5 times as fast as possible on a vent. However, I quickly got distracted from the challenge when I accidentally got a bunch of momentum when running off the vent. I then spent hours trying to recreate that and run off the vent to see what was happening, and I figured out that I was getting a corner boost mid-air, but no one believed me. In fact, I was starting to doubt myself because of how hard it was to get, and how insane getting a corner boost mid-air would be. It made no sense at the time. But eventually, I hit it in an online match for everyone to see, and in the match replay, to everyone's shock, it worked online. And now the race began to solve the midair corner boost. Once the word spread to the other SpotBusters, there was 2 different approaches people were taking. Plo and Gamer were trying to get it by running from one ledge to another, which would sometimes give them a MACB. Me, Tokyo, and NamNam were working on a 2-player method. The issue at this time was we had so little information about MACBs because they were so inconsistent that when we got one, we didn't actually know if we had it or not, and we didn't know if certain actions would cause you to lose it, because sometimes we thought we had one, and then we would walk a certain way and then it would go away. And so there was a lot of paranoia about what actions would actually get rid of the MACB. However, me, Tokyo, and NamNam eventually figured out a super consistent 2-player method to get MACBs. And on the roof of Cafe, we finally figured out what causes you to lose MACBs. And it turned out they were a lot more resilient than we thought. If you fall, it will trigger the MACB. And the only other way to lose a MACB is by doing a fall vault, which is by taking a vault that ends in the falling animation. We now had a method for MACBs. Now we just gotta find spots with them, which was so easy. Many spots that seemed impossible before now became free. Kinda. You needed the really, really annoying 2 to 3 person midair lineup, and they were super scuffed, but they did work, and they opened up so many new possible spots. But soon, a new MACB era would come. Plo and Gamer had been working hard to try and figure out a way to get solo MACBs, and this quest of theirs was starting to pay off. By finding map geometry that matched 2-player MACB lineups, you could get a solo MACB. But this era of MACBs is not remembered by the Plo era or the Gamer era, it is remembered by the Whoopman era. Whoopman is a member of the SpotBusters, also known for being the first one to find ram riding collision. Speaking of which, let me know down in the comments if you want to see a full ram riding history video. But back to MACBs. Whoopman became dedicated to finding midair lineups, and I think probably about 80% of midair lineups used during this time were found by Whoopman. However, this current era of MACBs wasn't perfect. You still had to go to a certain area of the map to get a MACB, and then potentially have to do parkour that could cause you to lose that MACB. So there are still some spots that aren't possible that would be possible if we had a universal method to get MACBs. And many of the SpotBusters spent a long time looking for it, and some of us came very close. That was until Eclipse came along. Eclipse is a member of the SpotBuster public server, and on November 10th, 2024, on Office on Coastline, he found a universal method to get a midair solo that works on any flat surface. And this discovery helped us understand what actually causes midairs, and helped us find better midair lineups for our parkour spots. Oddly enough, the method used to get universal midairs, both me and and gamer had thought of and tried something very similar to, but the trick eluded both of us. But now, the true golden age of parkour could begin. We had true parkour freedom. We flew around all the maps. We basically completed nearly every parkour spot in the game. It took from February 6, 2024 to November 10th, 2024 to solve the greatest piece of parkour tech that would probably ever exist in Rainbow Six. But sadly, this golden era will not last forever. After Siege X was announced, we all feared that MACBs would not make it to Siege X, and sadly, as predicted, they didn't make it. It doesn't even seem like they were patched, simply overridden by the new movement. In fact, Siege X also cuts the sprint time in half, and showed a big push by the devs to patch out all parkour. And so once again, we enter the dark ages of parkour. This is the biggest hit to parkour tech since the ram riding patch, and has made many people wonder if parkour will have a future in Rainbow Six. But we have to remember, we have been here before. Parkour has had many dark ages, but this time our community is bigger than ever. If MACBs have taught us anything, there will always be new tech.
You say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning, you wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face, got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone, so save your judgment cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. Oh, they say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies in my wake. Swear I didn't mean to make them break, swear I didn't mean to make them break. But they're so delicate and so mundane, and they keep coming like a moth to a flame. Oh, some things never change.